don't have a very pagan t-shirt on. Most
I
of
think
my pagan t-shirts are, in fact, t-shirts.
I think that if you're a pagan and you're wearing a t-shirt, that makes it a pagan t-shirt. It's so easy to think we're supposed to look like something,
Right.
you know,
Yes.
except we look like everybody. A whole
True.
spectrum of people is what we look like. We're going to head into some of the history section that came to us in the teachings that we received. Some of these are from the 70s or 80s, maybe earlier, who knows? Um, so we're just going to read these as they come to us. Um, and this one we refer to as legend tells us. So, legend tells us that Celtic law allowed for equality of the sexes and that women owned land, entered into marital contracts, which could be easily dissolved, and ruled their countries. Celtic women were taller and more supple than their male counterparts. Later, when Christianity tried to impose a patriarchal church on these people, the Virgin Mary simply became the new name for the great goddess, and worship of her did not wane. It was not until 200 years ago that Christianity had effectively wiped out matriarchy and goddess worship in Celtic Ireland.
The great beauty of these matriarchal cultures can be seen in Thrace and Catalheuch. Thrace is said to be the link between the lost civilizations and the ones we know of today. Thracians had knowledge of astronomy and of the earthly sciences, which far exceeded those who came after them. Thrace seems to have been a center in the development of witchcraft and was located near the home of the Amazons. It was then that women knew how to fertilize their own eggs and therefore had no need of men. This was also when Druids had their beginnings as the wise ones. Catalheuc is a city discovered in Turkey, thought to be at least 10,000 years old, and all indications say that it was a matriarchal utopia. There were no wars for thousands of years, no sacrifices of people or of criminals. The people were vegetarians, women were buried with great reverence, and the religion was that of the great goddess.
In ancient Peru, the word concept for woman, sea, and moon were all identical. And in parentheses, it asks us, how closely are they still linked in our unconscious? Today, it is believed that life came originally from the sea waters as the child in the womb floats in an amniotic ocean. Know that the goddess is still with us and in us. Her love is perpetual and unconditional. She is our mother, our daughter, and our sister. She is the circle that cannot be broken. As it was in the beginning, circle without end. Luminous blessings for the journey.
Yeah, we're entering into history of witchcraft. So we have a little piece called Religion for Today. Celtic Wicca, or witchcraft as it is known in modern society, is the pre-Christian religion of Western Europe, native to the English-speaking countries. However, we know that there are uh, lots of traditions of witchcraft almost in every country. Um, uh, we were just talking about Wicca for a second. Um, yes, uh, Spain, Italy, yes. Africa, yes. China, yes. Its roots can be traced back to the Egyptians through the Moors that carried many of the higher wisdoms north through Italy, Greece, and the Germanic countries. This migrated wisdom added to the earth shamanism that existed in Western Europe and gave birth to the Celtic pagan and druids. During the earliest times of our religion, the druids were the priests and priestesses of the Celtic craft. They were the educated, those that could read and write. The majority of their wisdoms passed through the ages in parables and tree symbologies. and even to us today in a language and an alphabet based on the trees, known as the Ogum sometimes, depending on how you like to pronounce it. Uh, and their symbologies. The Celtic pagans were hill people, heathen, um, and country people, living their lives in the awe and magnitude of nature's wonders. And they were trying to understand and live within the rhythm of nature. So sometimes I'll make jokes about hillbillies because that's where the remnants of the religion remained once Christianity moved into the cities. All right. The Druids led the pagans to a reverence and a respect of nature, guided them in treating all living things as having an equal right to life and happiness. There was and still is an emphasis on equality of the sexes, of a male and a female, so distinct that it carried over to a vision of an equality of a god and a goddess. There was an effort within their society to balance everything. Their rituals, their spells, their worship were governed by the laws of nature and respects. But like all good stories, the legends of their healings and insights grew into exaggerated portions. Their symbologies have often been misunderstood by modern society. Their magics are portrayed as hocus pocus instead of the natural wisdom that it once was. Now more than ever, Celtic Wicca is the quintessence of religion, the matriarchal, although I believe they meant patriarchal, although maybe they meant matriarchal.
So,
But either way, if you have a religion that's just based on one deity, then it's going to become imbalanced over time. That's at least our belief or our philosophy. Um, the religions of today and their one-sidedness just don't work. With the resurgence of equal rights, one must look for a balance in religion. We see our world becoming ecologically and environmentally conscious. And again, the nature religion of the pagan or the common people and the Celtic Wiccan sings true, evidence that the truth prevails. The miracles of birth, death, and the beauty of nature and the natural protection and balance of our Mother Earth are no longer hocus pocus. The moderns have finally grown in intelligence enough to understand and realize their responsibilities and to use them to the good of all life. Science brings religion full circle, the human mind in alignment with the great body, Mother Earth. That's just a little introduction. And next, we're going to get into a longer bit of lore with the history of the old religion. So don't forget to like and subscribe. How old is our religion? And
yeah,
that's like the core questions. And I think most people that follow paganism and witchcraft today are like, we're the original religion.
we're the original religion. Yes.
Even though it went through a lot of changes it, through culture after culture after culture. So,
And for as many people who say nobody today has the thread of that connection, everything was broken. I, as a personal human, don't believe that to be true. I believe that the thread winds through the
yeah,
various waves of migration here and there, to and fro.
yeah.
Um,
I think they tried.
and I think, yes, I think they tried extremely hard to stamp us out.
Yeah, I think it was a bit like maybe not as extreme as, let's say, the Mayan experience or the Aztec experience, but it was similar. Find the books and burn them.
And like the big snowball of
Yeah.
Christianity that
Although,
came
you know,
through, you just absorbed. Yeah.
yes. Well, that. I mean, we know that the people of the Vatican, people of the church found some grimoires and kept them.
Yes.
They didn't burn them. They were like, oh,
That's
power.
cool.
We'll
Yeah.
just we'll take a look at that. We'll keep that.
Yeah.
I mean, what does the Vatican hold?
That is such an intriguing question.
Yeah, they have some old texts. So we have sidetracked today.
Yes.
But yeah, I know we can talk forever, so we should.
Well, if you like what you're experiencing here,
That's right.
like and subscribe.
Exactly.